unpack it. Welcome to the DRS zone. We are here sheer kinetic energy. Grand Prix of São Paulo at Interlagos. I mean, this circuit, it's less a track and more like a high-stakes pressure cooker for every single F1 event.
Absolutely. It pushes everything.
Our mission today isn't just,
what
describe
it is?
the Autodromo Jose Carlos
Simply
pace.
lovely.
We want to understand its concepts.
The Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
What does that actually mean for the engineering? Right? We're diving deep inside this track. Pretty much guarantees drama. Could be sudden rain, could be the sheer physical talent that usually be layer.
And what's fascinating, I think, is that the circuit's core DNA, going way back to racing at altitude here, and that altitude, that inner air, is directly impacts that every that moving down towards the air generate modern margins push right to their second foot, trying to claw back that lost air.
Okay, let's look at the anatomy of this town. The physical spec. 4.309 kilometers, 15 corners. They almost feel, I don't know, beside the point when you think about the strains they impose.
They do, yeah. Let's start with that anti-clockwise direction. That's pretty rare on the calendar. It immediately stresses the driver's neck muscles in ways they just aren't used to. But maybe more critically for the car, it puts this relentless, punishing load onto the right-hand side tires, especially that right front.
Okay, that's a huge takeaway for you listening. We're not just talking generic tire wear here. We're talking focused degradation, like laser-focused on one corner of the car. How does that localized strain affect how they set the car up?
It forces a massive compromise, basically. You have to tune the car to handle that right front punishment through the fast left-handers. But, if you go too stiff, you sacrifice stability and traction everywhere else. And stability is absolutely paramount, especially when you hit those big elevation changes. Think about that steep downhill run into turn 1, the famous S de Senna. Braking stability there, with the speed involved, it's just incredibly sensitive.
Right, the S de Senna. We always hear it's the key overtaking spot. But technically, what's the actual complex move drivers are pulling off there? It looks simple, but clearly isn't.
Well, it's a pure risk-reward calculation. To get the best speed down the straight that follows the return, you have to prioritize a really strong exit out of turn 2. So that means, kind of ironically, the fastest way around the corner often means compromising the entry into turn 1 a little bit. You back up the braking point slightly, focus on getting the car rotated. If you go too deep trying to make the pass into turn 1, you completely ruin your run down that long straight and you're vulnerable straight away.
Ah, okay. So they're trading immediate corner speed for ultimate straight line speed later on. It's all about the exit. Got it. And then, of course, there's the other massive factor, the true wild card, the thing that makes every strategy here a total gamble, the weather.
Yeah, the sources are really clear on this. Interlagos weather isn't just rainy, it's volatile. Unlike, say, those persistent drizzles you get in Europe, São Paulo often features these rapid onset, localized flash storms. You can genuinely have sun shining on one part of the track and an absolute monsoon on another.
Wow. But strategically, why does that specific characteristic matter more here than, I don't know, a fully wet race at Silverstone?
It's because of the altitude and the humidity. When that rain hits, the track surface temperature just plummets. That makes it incredibly difficult to get temperature into intermediate or wet tires. So it's a thermal challenge as much as it is a grip challenge, you see. It means that crossover point between slicks and inters is really narrow and unpredictable. Engineers have to make these split-second calls on a track surface that's changing constantly.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Interlagos isn't just a place to test engineering limits. It's practically a history book of defining F1 moments. These are the moments that, really stick with you, the listener.
Absolutely. If you look back, the emotion is just palpable. Take Senna's 1991 home victory. He won that race basically stuck in 6th gear, gearbox failure. Just think about the physical stamina needed to wrestle an F1 car of that era. No power steering, manual clutch for the final laps, under immense physical pain.
That level of punishment is almost unimaginable today, isn't it? Makes you wonder how different that effort would be compared to a modern car with paddle shifters and power steering, even if a sensor failed.
Well, the modern car definitely reduces the raw physical load, yeah, but the concentration required is still absolute. But the drama isn't just physical battles. Think about 2008, Lewis Hamilton sealing his first championship. That spectacular last lap, last corner pass on Timo Glock.
Oh, I remember the silence when Massa crossed the line, everyone thinking he'd won it, then maybe 5-10 seconds later, the explosion of noise when Hamilton finally slipped past Glock in that final sector, that was just pure unscripted F1 theater.
Exactly. And then 2012, Sebastian Vettel showing just sheer resilience. He had that collision early on, damaged his car, but battled through the rain, through the field with that damage to clinch his third world title. This track, it doesn't just reward the fast, it rewards the resilient.
And while the history is incredibly rich, the dominance continues today, doesn't it? Looking at recent winners, we see multiple titles secured by Lewis Hamilton 16, 18, 21, and Max Verstappen 19, 23, 24, plus George Russell's breakthrough win in 2022. This circuit definitely rewards champions.
Yeah, that visual spectacle of history just unfolding right there is what brings us back every single year. And if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to the DRS zone. Don't forget to subscribe for more F1 content. Honestly, the atmosphere alone is worth the view. So, shifting gears to the 2025 event, it's provisionally set as a sprint weekend. Now, this format, it throws a massive strategic spanner into the technical works, especially given Interlagos' particular nature.
Right. Let's quickly run through that packed schedule again. Friday is just the one practice session and then sprint qualifying. Saturday is super busy, sprint race late morning, then the main Grand Prix qualifying in the afternoon. Then Sunday, the Grand Prix itself kicks off at 2 p.m. local time, 14.00 BRT.
The schedule itself is important, yeah, but the strategic dilemma is what really matters here. Under the sprint format, the cars go into Parc Fermé rules after just that single Friday practice session.
Okay, and at Interlagos, a track famous for its weather chaos, what does that rigidity, that lockdown, mean for the teams?
It means they basically have to commit to a setup blind. They're gambling on the weather forecast for Saturday and Sunday based only on data from Friday's P1, which often is held in totally different conditions. So if they set the car up for dry running and then it suddenly rains on Sunday, they can't fundamentally change things like suspension, brake duct geometry, or the cooling configuration. They're stuck.
Wow, that's fascinating. So they're forced to build in some strategic flexibility, maybe run a slightly softer suspension than would be absolutely optimal for the dry, just to mitigate the risk of a sudden flash storm completely ruining their whole weekend.
Yeah.
It really elevates the team principal's role to like a high-stakes gambler.
Absolutely. The margin for error in that setup is basically zero. If you fail to account for the thin air, the anti-clockwise strain, and the potential for rapid weather changes, your weekend could be effectively over before the Grand Prix even starts.
And beyond the track itself, you just can't talk about São Paulo without celebrating the atmosphere. The passion of the Brazilian fans, the torcida, it's an experience in itself.
Oh, yeah. The crowd creates this truly electric energy. They line that hill at the start-finish straight. It's incredible. The event really merges the intensity of F1 with São Paulo's vibrant culture, the amazing food, the nightlife. It makes it a proper destination event.
And for those of you planning to soak up that atmosphere, finding the right spot is key, especially since general admission isn't available.
Right. For that iconic view, the chaos starting at the Senna, you probably want Tribuna M. That's right at the end of the main straight, perfect for watching overtakes. If you're more into strategy, Tribuna B is premium, it's covered, and it offers great views of the podium and, crucially, those complex pit stops unfolding right below.
And for just maximum crowd energy, Tribuna A is the biggest stand. You get views of the final corner, the infield. It guarantees a really lively party atmosphere. Or if you're after something a bit different, more open air, the Heineken Village in Sector 3 is known for its sort of festival vibe, DJs, and they offer inter-track access too.
Now, when planning your travel, logistics are really vital. Public transport is definitely the best way to go. Use the AUTÓDROMO metro station on Line 9. It's a very short walk from the venue. Or, alternatively, look out for the special GPSP express trains. They run from key spots like Pinheiros and Morumbi directly to the track.
Yeah, and practical prep is everything when you're dealing with that famous weather. Gates open early 8 a.m. daily, so you need to be ready for a long day.
Comfortable shoes are absolutely non-negotiable. That terrain is hilly. And given the climate, you really have to dress for extremes. Pack sunscreen and a hat for the intense sun, definitely. But also, pack a small collapsible raincoat or poncho. You might genuinely need all three within the space of an hour.
Good point. And pay close attention to venue rules on what you can bring in. Bags are strictly limited, 25 by 25 by 25 centimeters. So leave the glass containers and any big professional recording gear or drones at home.
So if we try and synthesize this whole deep dive, what does it all really mean? I think the true essence of Interlagos is that it demands absolute perfection physically and technically. The race results are rarely straightforward, are they? They're defined by this confluence of factors. The extreme anti-clockwise physical strain, the engineering compromises forced by Sprint Parc Fermé, and just the totally capricious nature of the local climate. It tests every single variable in F1.
It truly does. It forces every team, every driver, to confront their absolute limits, especially late in the season when the stakes are just sky high. It demands maximum physical and mental effort, while at the same time asking engineers to basically gamble on the environment. So, we'll leave you with this final thought to maybe explore on your own. Looking ahead to the 2025 race, which factor do you think will ultimately dominate the result? Will it be the driver's fitness against those relentless anti-clockwise G-forces that decides it? Will the constraints of the engineer's setup compromise under Parc Fermé prove too restrictive? Or will the entire grid simply bow down, like so many times before, to the unpredictable hand of the rain gods?
Whatever the key variable turns out to be, it is going to be essential viewing. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Gran Premio São Paulo. Make sure you subscribe and follow the DRS Zone for more technical analysis and F1 excitement throughout the season. We'll catch you next time.